Now, I was looking to do a 10-year rebuild today, but I couldn't figure out which team to rebuild, and then it hit me. I have never done a rebuild of the Hartford Whalers. I have rebuilt countless NHL teams. I've even brought back teams such as the Quebec Nordiques, and of course, I've rebuilt created teams, but never the Hartford Whalers. So that's going to change today. The Hartford Whalers are coming back to the NHL, and I'm going to be taking over as their GM. I'm going to be rebuilding this team, and I'm going to win them a couple Stanley Cups. But first, one thing does have to happen, and that is us dropping in the draft. We are dropping from 3 to 4, but that's perfectly fine because we will find a way to bounce back. Also, it was a known fact we were going to drop in the draft. I think we all expected that. Now, before we make any selections, there's actually one team we have to check on, and that team, of course, is going to be the Vancouver Canucks. Now, why are we checking in on the Vancouver Canucks? I believe I have done a couple expansion drafts so far in NHL 26, and when I did those expansion drafts, there was a glitch in the game that allowed Quinn Hughes to be available in the expansion draft. I'm just curious if he's still available. It doesn't look like it. Quinn Hughes is not going to be available, so we're not going to be going with him today. Now, when it comes to our first selection, I don't want to bring just anybody to the team. So instead of going in alphabetical order, I'm going to look for a specific player to start a franchise with. Who is that guy going to be? It could be Svechnikov, and that honestly wouldn't be that bad of a pickup. However, I know what he's like when he's on my teams in NHL 26. He lets me down constantly, so I don't think we're going to go with him. Samuel Girard wouldn't be a bad pickup. A good 86 overall defenseman. That could be an option for us. Okay, yeah, no, we're keeping this very simple. Thomas Harley, welcome to the team. You are the guy we're going with. Why on earth were you not protected? I have no clue. But Thomas Harley, welcome to the team. So he's going to be our first selection. I didn't even go through every NHL team, but yeah, I just have to go with Thomas Harley. Now, I'm not going to show you absolutely every selection I make, but I will show you all of the notable ones. Now, I know for a fact Boston's not going to have a notable selection, but the Buffalo Sabres certainly do, as Michael Kesselring's joining our team. Also, Svechnikov, although you let me down basically all of the time, I'm going to bring you to the team, and I'm going to hope this is going to be the one time you don't let me down. Either that, or I'm going to trade you away because you'll have some decent trade value. Also, Thomas Harley, you're going to need an elite defenseman to play alongside, and Samuel Girard, you're going to be that guy. He's here. Dyson Mayo is here. If you know, you know. But he's a stick on the ice legend, and he's going to be a no-brainer. We have to bring him to the team. Now, this is actually a tougher pick than you would expect. Like in 99% of instances, I would probably go with Jake Wallman. However, if I do go with Jake Wallman, we're going to have a very expensive defense. But what I could do is just select him here and trade him away. So I think that's what we'll do. Jake Wallman, I'll bring you to the team, and then we'll trade you away. And then Lundell, you can be a key centerman for us. So you remember how I was talking about bringing Jake Wallman to the team so we could trade him away? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do with Dougie Hamilton. He's not a part of this team's future. However, he will help bring in the future. Now, so far, we haven't had a lot of notable selections, but it's time to bring in probably the most notable of them all. The Nick Waugh strat's coming out. We're bringing Nick Waugh to the team. I'm going to play him on the first line. We'll get his overall up to an 87, and then we'll flip him next season. Or at least that's the plan with him. Also, Vancouver, it looks like you've messed up once again. You might have protected Quinn Hughes, but you're leaving Thatcher Demko available, and I'm picking him up. So we're down to our final selection, and with that final pick, Cole Perfetti is going to be joining the team. He's going to be our final pickup. Never mind, no, he won't be, because we actually need another goaltender. Who am I perfectly fine with not bringing to the team? Probably Lawson Krause. So instead of selecting Lawson Krause, I'll bring in Vitek Vanacek. He can be a backup goaltender for us. And now that we've brought Vanacek to the team, Cole Perfetti, he will join the team. So we've completed our team. The Hartford Whalers are actually looking pretty solid. We got some decent enough pieces here. However, our team is definitely going to be looking way better heading into year one, because we're going to make a ton of trades over the offseason, especially starting at the draft, because Dougie Hamilton, you're likely not sticking around. Svechnikov, there's a good chance you're not sticking around. And Jake Wallman, we might be moving on from you as well. So there's going to be a handful of guys we're going to be moving on from, as well as our pick. Now you might be thinking, if we're a rebuilding team, why on earth would you trade your pick away? Like, that's a pick in which you're supposed to bring an elite potential player to the team. Well, yeah, about that. When it comes, okay, hold on, just wait a minute. I have to take back everything I was about to say. Normally, when I've done videos like this, the top 5 picks are just complete buns. Like, there is nothing good. In this situation, there's actually something good. A franchise potential player. So yeah, here's the 4th overall pick, and I guess Dougie Hamilton. You can have Dougie Hamilton as well. He doesn't want to go there. Do you want Jake Wallman? Yes, they do. I mean, they don't want Jake Wallman, but he fits the trade block. So is that enough for the 1st overall? Okay, that was really easy. Yeah, so we're getting a franchise potential player. Now, what I was going to say is when you do an expansion draft, normally it's absolutely cooked. Like, there is no good prospects whatsoever. Like, this guy has inaccurate scouting, but it's 7th deep potential, and he's projected 13th overall. Like, yeah, there's not a lot of elite prospects. The guy who's projected 22nd overall is a bust. So yeah, if that doesn't doesn't sum up year number 1, I don't know what will. But when it comes to the first overall pick that we just traded for, we're going to bring in this medium franchise potential player, starting off as a 74 overall. I don't really care that you're only a 74 overall. You're a good playmaker that's going to join this team in the future. I'm going to give you another season to develop, and you're going to be a superstar for us. So now that we've made that selection, it's time to make some of the trades I was looking at making. But before we make that trade, there's actually two things we have to do. One, we have to figure out where Dougie Hamilton's willing to go. And out of all of these teams, there's a couple jumping out at me. The Toronto Maple Leafs would actually make a lot of sense. The Rangers might make a little bit of sense. Quite a few of these teams actually make a lot of sense. So Dougie Hamilton, we should get a pretty decent return for you. But the second thing we have to do before we make any trades is have you subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 92k subs by the end of the month, and you haven't subscribed yet. And honestly, that's a little bit ridiculous. So make sure you hit that button down below right now. Now, Toronto, how does this sound? 1-for-1, Dougie Hamilton straight up for Matthew Knies. Of course, they're going to be rejecting that. Honestly, we shouldn't be surprised. However, we do have a handful of other assets we can throw in this deal. One of those assets being Jake Evans. Now, if I threw Jake Evans into this deal, more than likely Toronto would be willing to accept it. But how about I try to get something else as well? Now, what is that other piece going to be? Maybe Bobby McMahon. He could be a good bottom 6 guy for us. So this is what the trade's going to be looking like. Toronto's going to be rejecting it because they want a little bit more. So it's time to bring out the lucrative 7th round pick. We're going to send that over to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And just like that, we brought in Matthew Knies and Bobby McMahon. Two amazing additions. Also, I just want to point out the difference between the first overall and the second overall pick. Overall wise, not much of a difference. A medium elite potential grinder second overall. That is crazy. Now I went ahead and took a quick look at the rest of the draft, and it does not look that good. So I'm looking to move on for basically all of our picks. So the 32nd overall, the 69th overall, and Jeremy Lauzon are going to be sent over to the Red Wings. The Red Wings are currently interested in all of these assets, so maybe we can bring in Marco Kasper. They're going to be rejecting the deal, but how about I give you a couple more draft picks? I'm literally willing to trade all of these picks away because they mean nothing to me. Marco Kasper, this isn't quite enough for you, but what if I give you a second round pick? I do have a 2026 second round pick I can use, but how about a 2026 third rounder instead? We're going to be able to bring in Marco Kasper. I think we fleece the Red Wings. So we're going to try to pull off one more trade at the draft, and what it's going to be is the 135th overall and the 168 alongside Connor Zary. Will Cooley, is this going to be enough for you? They're going to be rejecting that, but how about I give up some draft picks for next season? Like, I'll give you a 7th round pick. I don't know if that's going to be enough, but it looks like it is, so we're going to fleece the Rangers like that. Now, before I started the expansion draft, I did add an additional year to everyone's contract, just so when we head into the 2025-2026 season, all the contracts are going to be as they should be. So McDavid's going to have this season and then his 2-year extension. Kaprizov's going to have his correct extension. You basically have to add an additional year for everyone's contract to be correct. So with that being said, the team we have right now is likely the team we're going to be running with. We're not going to be making any adjustments over the offseason because I don't even think there's going to be anything available for us. Like, this is what free agency looks like. It's basically all the guys who aren't under a contract right now in the NHL. So yeah, we're not going to do anything here. I mean, I will sign this guy right here. Isn't he with the Chicago Blackhawks? Yeah, he was drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks. Why on earth is he a UFA right now? You know what? I'm not going to question it. I'm going to give him a contract and hopefully he's going to join the team. I'll give you $975K for the next 3 years. Hopefully you accept that. If you don't, not the end of the world, but yeah, I would like to bring you to the team. So I guess we'll see if we're going to get that one free agent. He's going to be rejecting our offer and he's going to be joining the St. Louis Blues. I can understand you wanting to join an organization of that caliber. So here's what we're looking at when it comes to season number 1. First of all, the Nick Wastrat is in full effect. We're having him play on the first line. I can't wait until he's an 87 overall so we can flip him for a ton of assets. When it comes to the defense, that's one thing I actually don't think we have to worry about. We have a really good defense, and we also don't have to worry about goaltending because we have Thatcher Demko. The forward core over the next handful of years, yeah, we're probably going to be changing a lot when it comes to this. So when it comes to season number 1, I'm not really expecting too much from the team. I think we can be a fringe wildcard team, but I can't imagine us winning a Stanley Cup this season. Now, I had some pretty low expectations heading into this season, but I didn't expect this. The Hartford Whalers, 29th in the entire league. Truthfully, I should have expected this because what are we actually good at? We're not good at offense. We're not good at defense. This is just not a good team. We also have a terrible coach. I feel like I should point that out. We have like a B+ head coach. I don't even know if he's a B+. We just don't have a good coaching staff. And as we know, coaching staff means quite a bit when it comes to NHL 26. Lundell, you're looking pretty solid right now. 20 goals and 32 helpers. Thomas Harley, Samuel Girard, you guys are doing your thing. Matthew Knies, you're not looking too bad. Svechnikov, though, I think we gotta trade you. It's not working here. Then again, you are playing second line minutes, but you're minus 21, Cole Perfetti's minus 23, Will Cooley's minus 16. Yeah, this just isn't it. I don't think we're gonna make any moves here at the deadline, but I will check on some players' trade values, because if someone's trade value is way higher than it should be, then we will make a move. Now, I just want to point out, Nick Wash's trade value has grown, so that is working out for us, but I don't think there's anyone on the team I really want to trade right now, so I think we're just going to stick with all the players we have, and then we'll just make some moves over the offseason. With that being said, we'll exit the trade deadline, but we will hand out some extensions, because I know there are a couple we have to give out. Truthfully, probably should have handed these extensions out at the beginning of the season, but you know what? It is what it is. Cole Perfetti, how much are you going to be looking for? You want 4.9 million? Honestly, that's not too bad. But how about I save a little money? Here's 4.5 for the next 5 seasons. Michael Kesselring, you can't possibly be looking for too much. 6.8 million. That's quite a bit of money, but you know what? You're a good second pairing defenseman for me. So how about I do $6 million for the next 3? I'm actually surprised we can save as much money as we can, but here you go. $6 million for the next 3. That'll work out for us. Vladimir Tarasenko, more than likely, you're going to be leaving the team. And then when it comes to everyone else, it's just going to be really cheap contracts, except for Andre. He wants 4.4 million. That's definitely not happening. Michael McCarron, I can give you 1.7 million for the next 3. Bobby McMahon, you're a stick on the ice legend. Here's 1.7 million. Granted, you're actually not even playing for me right now. You're in the AHL. So yeah, I think we're going to hold off with basically everybody else. I mean, Shakir, I can give you an extension. Never mind. No, I won't. Dyson Mayo, will you sign a 2-way contract with me? No, you won't. All right. We are going to hand out like 2 extensions, and that's about it. All right, so this season was a disaster, but it also wasn't, because we were the second worst team in the entire league, meaning we should get a really good pick. And if we're going to drop 2 spots, that means we're only going to drop to the 4th overall. I can live with the 4th overall pick. I'm expecting the 4th overall. Anything better than the 4th overall is honestly a success in my eyes. Lundell, 66 points, Thomas Harley, 58, Samuel Girard, 58. Yeah, we're making moves over the offseason. Plain and simple, we have to improve this team, because this is not it. Nick Wall, what overall are you? You're an 85 overall. I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, so we can work with that. We got to make a handful of adjustments to this team, and the main adjustment we have to make is a new coach. We can't run it back with Bro again. He was terrible, like one of the worst coaches I've ever seen. Bro's already out the door. We're going to simulate up to the draft lottery. What pick are we going to be walking away with? The 4th overall. That's exactly what I was expecting. San Jose's jumping from 6-1. Nashville's jumping from 7-2. Why am I not surprised? All right, so here's a trade I'm looking to pull off. Svechnikov and Nick Wass sent over to the Rangers. Lafreniere and Brain Schneider are both going to be brought in. Now, we'll have a better defense by bringing in Brain Schneider, because he's going to be a good defensive defenseman. We're going to have to throw some more into this deal. I'm thinking it's probably going to have to be 2 second-rounders. So we'll start with this second-rounder right here. They're going to be saying no. I'll throw in the 35th overall pick as well. Is that going to be enough to get this one done? It looks like it. So we brought in a new playmaker, meaning Cole Perfetti, we will be trading you away because we won't need you anymore. And I guess that begs the question, what do we do here with some of our selections? Because there's a lot of playmakers available, and I don't really want to bring a playmaker to the team. So do we trade the 4th overall and try to get an elite sniper? I think that could be the move here, because there's no one really jumping out at me that I think is going to help our team really quick here. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. We're looking to trade the 4th overall. Now I'm looking at doing a 3-team trade. The 4th overall pick sent over to the Red Wings. Axel Sandin Pellikka in the 11th overall. I doubt we're going to be able to get that. If I throw Cole Perfetti into this deal, doesn't make a difference. I highly doubt it, but I'm still going to try regardless. So is this enough for those 2 assets right there? They're going to be rejecting it. Okay, maybe we don't get the 11th overall pick. However, I would like at least 1 draft pick back, maybe even a future second rounder. So how about you give me Minnesota's second rounder and Washington's 4th round pick? Are they going to say yes to this? They're saying no. I'll take out the 4th rounder. Is that enough? They're saying no, but we're really close. So I'll give you a 7th rounder. So that would be enough to bring Axel Sandin Pellikka to the team. And then what we're going to do with him is we're going to flip him over to the Ducks. So we'll flip him over to the Ducks along with that 2nd round pick. And Cutter Gaucher, I'm looking to bring you to the team. You could be a really good scorer on our top line. I think this is a pretty fair package, so I'll send it over to the Ducks. They're saying no. I feel like we shouldn't have to include too much more in this deal, and then we should be able to get it done. How about the rest of these picks right here? I don't really care too much about these later round picks. Is this enough for Cutter Gaucher? Thank you, Anaheim. It was a pleasure doing business with you. So after making all the moves we did at the deadline, we have $14 million in cap space. Cutter Gaucher is only looking for a 1-year deal. That's going to hurt the team, but you know what? We'll give it to him. I'll do 5.2 for 1 season. I would prefer to do a longer term deal, but we'll do what we can. Tarasenko is going to be leaving the team. Andre, you were looking for way too much money earlier, and you're still looking for way too much money. Here's your qualifying offer, which is less than $1 million. take it or leave it. Bobby McMahon, you want 1.8 million. I don't know if you're going to play bottom 6 minutes, but here's 1.7 for the next 2. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept that. Shakira, you were bugging earlier, but now you're up to an 80 overall. So maybe I can do $2 million for the next 2. I still think that's a little bit expensive, but you know what? We'll get it done. And then everyone else is going to be walking. Well, except for Sebastian Cosa. I'll give him $1 million for the next 2 years. Now, after re-signing a couple players, there are some extensions we have to give out, starting with Samuel Girard. He's looking for $9.3 million. That's quite a bit of money, but you know what? I'm willing to give it to him. I don't really want to do the no movement though, so how about we take the no movement away and I do a modify no trade instead. He's not really interested in that, so I guess we have to do a no movement. But you know what? I guess it's not the end of the world. Here's 8.4 for the next 4 years. Samuel Girard, welcome back to the team. Will Cooley, I don't know how much you're going to be looking for. You only want to sign a 1-year deal. I guess we can make it work. Or do I trade Will Cooley away for a sniper? You know what, Will Cooley? How many goals did you score for me last season? You only had 16 goals. Yeah, I'm going to trade you away. Riker Evans, moving forward, you're going to be playing third line minutes for me. How much money do you want? Well, you only want 2.8, so I can definitely do that. Warren Foegele, I'm going to let you walk. Marco Kasper, I would like to bring you back to the team. How much money do you want? $5 million. It's a little bit much, but we can make it work. Here's $5.4 million for the next 3. And then, of course, Shipley, it's time for me to give you your entry-level contract. You're jumping into the top 6 this upcoming year. Now, with everybody else, I'm just looking to hand out a bunch of 2-way contracts, and if they're not willing to accept that, well, they're going to be walking. Okay, this might be one of the wildest things I've seen in a long time. Look at Cole Caulfield's trade value. It is not that high considering he's a 90 overall. Like, I feel like it should be way higher than this. Look at Nick Suzuki's, and he's a 91 overall. There's a 1 overall difference, but the trade value is basically double. So we're going to try to pick up Cole Caulfield. I don't really care what it takes. I'm willing to throw Marco Kasper in this deal if I have to. I'm going to start off with Cole Perfetti and Will Cooley. Is this enough? They're going to be saying no. They like Cole Perfetti, not really too interested in Will Cooley. That is something to remember. Are you interested in first round picks? It doesn't look like it, but I'm willing to trade first round picks. So how about we trade Will Cooley away somewhere else? We bring in a defenseman and then we flip that defenseman. All right, so this is how the 3-team trade is going to work. A second rounder, Will Cooley, a 6th and a 7th being sent over to Philly. Cam York, welcome to the team, but now we're flipping you. So Cam York and Cole Perfetti are both going to be sent over to the Montreal Canadiens. I don't think that this is enough for Cole Caulfield, but I feel like it's a pretty good start. They're going to be rejecting this. I'll give you a second round pick. We actually don't have a second rounder, so I guess I'll give you a first round pick for 2028. But I'm perfectly fine with giving up a first round pick for 2028, especially if we're getting Cole Caulfield in this deal. They're going to be rejecting that. Do I give up 2 firsts? Like, we have to understand, Cole Caulfield's trade value is about to explode. Like, it's going to be 3 times as much as it is right now next season. So giving up 2 first round picks in this deal, I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world. All right, so we're really going all in right now. Marco Kasper and Andre is now going to be sent over to the Seattle Kraken. Capo Caco and Shane Wright are both going to be joining the team. I mean, are we really any better off swapping Shane Wright for Marco Kasper? I don't really know. I feel like we're in the exact same position if we do that. So how about we just take these 2 guys out of the deal, and Andre and a couple other assets are going to be sent over for Capo Caco. Like, at the end of the day, it's literally just a 2 overall difference between those 2 players. Marco Kasper's still young. He's going to keep on getting better. Warren Foegele, I guess I can throw you into this deal. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Actually, I want to hold on to Warren Foegele because I think he could be a good bottom 6 player for us this season. Instead, I'll throw Taylor Radish in this deal. I don't think that's quite going to be enough. We need to include a little bit more, which is going to be a late round draft pick. So here's a 6th round pick for 2028. That should be enough for Capo Caco, and now he's joined the team. So through all the moves we've made, we have $5 million left in cap space. Let's go find one good free agent and then get ready for next season. So when it comes to the one player we're going to bring in for $5 million, Evander Kane, welcome to the team. I'm going to need you to play some good bottom 6 minutes. Now we're moving into season number 2 with the Hartford Whalers, and this team is looking way better than we did last season. We saw improvements across the board. We even saw some incredible development from some of our young guys. And then Thatcher Demko, last season might have been a little bit of a disaster for you, but now we have a better coaching staff. We have a better team in front of you. We should be looking at a playoff appearance this season. Now before I show you guys our record this season, I should mention something. We have a new coaching staff. It's not a good coaching staff. There was no good coaches available. The best coach available was John Cooper, and after that, a B overall coach. So yeah, things are not looking too good for us right now. The Hartford Whalers, 25th in the entire league, a 29-30-4 record. I am very surprised at this. I'm going to keep it a stack. I have no clue how we're this bad, considering how many high overall players we have on the team. Like, Cutter Gaucher is looking pretty solid as a 90 overall. Lundell's an 89 overall. Cole Caulfield's a 90 overall. Thomas Harley's a 91. Matthew Nye's an 89. Lafreniere an 86. Samuel Girard an 89. Shipley's a 90. You would think this team would just find a way to win win some games here. Apparently not. We are just not winning games whatsoever. Samuel Girard, you're minus 19. Maybe we need to move on from Samuel Girard. Maybe he isn't the guy for us. Thatcher Demko, I mean, the numbers are better this season. Kaapo Kähkönen, it would help if you made a save from time to time. But yeah, I am very surprised this team is not seeing more success. Like, I don't really know what moves we should make here. Thomas Harley's trade value has increased quite a bit, and even Samuel Girard's. So I guess barring what's out there, we might make a move with Samuel Girard. Alright, so I have an interesting trade here. Samuel Girard and Lafreniere sent over to the Minnesota Wild for David Jiricek and Matt Boldy. Now, Jiricek's only an 86 overall, so technically that's a bit of a step back. However, Matt Boldy could be a really good second line player for us. Now, yes, Lafreniere is a playmaker, but Lundell has basically been a playmaker even though he's not a playmaker. Like, he's a two-way forward, but he already has 35 assists this season. I think we'd be better off if Lundell was our primary playmaker over Lafreniere, and we gave Lundell a couple other guys to play alongside. So I think we're going to do this deal right here, but I wouldn't mind picking up another asset in this deal. Maybe it's Ogren. Ogren could probably play some good bottom six minutes for us. He's a good young player, so I'm going to offer this package over to Minnesota. They're saying no. I'll take Ogren out of the deal. Can we go 2 for 2? Yes, we can. Hopefully this is going to be the spark we needed, and hopefully this is going to be enough for us to make the postseason. Now, we tried to turn things up after the trade deadline, but it just didn't work out for us. We're going to be missing the postseason, 21st in the entire league, a 39, 37, and 6 record. Everything changes next season. This team is going to be significantly better next season. And why is that? We're redoing the coaching staff once again. I'm just going to keep fixing our coaching staff until we get coaches that are actually good overalls. Like, once again, we don't have good overall coaches here. And in NHL 26, and basically every NHL game in the past, if you don't have good overall coaches, you're not going to see any success. So even though on paper, we have a really good team, it's the coach's fault. Plain and simple, the coaches are what's holding us back. The Colorado Avalanche Stanley Cup champions, but yeah, we're just waiting until we get good coaches. The second we get good coaches, we're taking over the NHL. Also, I think it's about time Karagosha gets his extension because he's probably going to be looking for an absolute bag, but 10.3 million is not quite as bad as I thought it would be. Especially since he has very high organizational interest, we can probably do 9.4 for the next 4. So Karagosha is coming back, Evander Kane's leaving, Brazeau's leaving, Warren Fogel's leaving. Probably all of these guys right here are going to be leaving. Holmstrom, we might be able to keep you around on a cheap deal. And you know what? 2.2 million is really not that bad. So you can stick around. And then Justin Brazeau, maybe you can stick around as well. Actually, I don't really want to give you 2.1. So we're going to be losing stick on the ice legend Justin Brazeau and stick on the ice legend Pontus Holmberg. It's a sad day. Also, in case you were wondering, that pick that we trade over to the Montreal Canadiens, it's going to turn out to be the 13th overall. But I still think that was a good trade for us considering we got Cole Caulfield. Now, we're not going to have to spend too much time at the draft here because I've basically traded everything away. We do have one pick though, and we're going to go for this guy who might be a gem. Does he have medium league potential? Wow, what a selection. There is no reason he should have had medium league potential, but show to bro. We might have something here. Then again, he is 20 years old. So yeah, if he doesn't develop in the next 2 seasons, we'll trade him away. Also, it turns out we have another pick in the draft. I was not aware of these picks. I thought we only had one draft pick, so maybe we can get another medium league potential player. However, I doubt that's going to be the case unless this guy right here happens to have medium league potential. And yeah, that's not really going to work out for us. So I think just about everyone's going to be walking here. We're not going to bring any of these guys back. Even the RFAs, I don't plan on bringing them back to the team. So we're going to have $16 million in cap space, and all we really have to do is fill out a couple spots on the bottom 6. We already have the core players on this team. Now, before we spend too much money in free agency, there's a couple guys that we do have to re-sign. One of those players being David Jiricek. We did bring him to the team last season, and he is looking to sign a very reasonable deal. However, I would prefer if we did 7 years because I'll lock him down for the rest of the video, so I think that's what we're going to do. 6.9 million with a no movement, and you know what? We're saving a lot of money. How about we do 6.4 for the next 7 with a no movement? Jiricek's going to be sticking around. He's accepting immediately. You'll love to see it. Kaapo Kähkönen, he only wants 3.6 million. How about we do 3.3 for 1 season? You can continue to play some good bottom 6 minutes. Shakir, I'm hoping we can save quite a bit of money with you. You want 2.7 million? I can definitely do that. And then Bobby McMahon, we'll hold off with you. Also, Sebastian Cossa, I guess I can give you an extension. Here's 800k for the next 2. So our defense and goaltending is complete. We just need some guys for the bottom 6. So we're looking for cheap players on 1-year contracts. contracts. William Karlsson, you can definitely be one of those guys. I'll do $4 million for 1 season. Hopefully you're going to be willing to accept immediately, and it looks like you are. So William Karlsson is definitely a great start. Who do we want to bring in next? Honestly, Chris Kreider would not be bad for the bottom 6. So how about $4.3 million for 1 season? He's accepting immediately. That's going to be another amazing pickup for us. Who's going to be the next player we're bringing in on a 1-year deal? Who's interested? Nyquist is interested. That's not really that bad of a pickup. Ross Colton could be a good bottom 6 guy for us. And you know what? That's who we're going to bring in. Here's 2.2 for 1 season. Another guy that could be interesting here is Luke Evangelista. We would have to pay him a little bit more, but at least he has potential. However, I think we are going to pass up on him. And instead, how about we bring Jonathan Toews to the team for 1 season? Here's $2 million. So with the final $6 million we have, we can bring in one more free agent. Now, who is that free agent going to be? Gudas, obviously, I don't want to go with you. Brendan Dillon, I don't have to go with you. We need to bring in a forward. Blake Coleman, how about you join the team? We'll bring in Blake Coleman for $3.2 million. We brought in a handful of guys on 1-year deals. They're going to play some great bottom 6 minutes, and we're finally going to see some postseason success. Now, we finally have a good coaching staff. So with that being said, watch this team win 50 plus games. I can almost guarantee it. We're going to win 50 plus games, and I am so confident that we're going to see that much success. I'm simulating right to the end of the season. I'm not going to stop at the trade deadline. Part of that has to do with the fact that we basically don't have any assets here. Like, I've traded basically every draft pick away. We have no young players whatsoever. But yeah, I have so much confidence in this team. We're simming right to the end of the season, and we're going to win 50 games. Like, if you're wondering who our head coach is right now, Jared Bednar. Safe to say we're in good hands. Now, I have some bad news. We were not a 50-win team this season. We still made the playoffs and we were top 10, but we weren't a 50-win team. A 47, 29, and 6 record, 3.5 goals per game, 2.91 allowed. It's a sad day. I'm happy we made the postseason, don't get me wrong, but y'all let me down, and that's one of the worst things you can do. I told everyone watching this video we would win 50 plus games, and y'all didn't win 50 plus games for me. You let me down. Thatcher Demko, 31 wins, 3 shouts, a 906 and a 287. Soderblom, you were really solid as the backup, but it's just an absolute shame that we couldn't be a 50-win team this season. But moving forward, I expect us to be a 50-win team every season. We won 47 games, and moving forward, every year we should be a little bit better. We have the Rangers in the first round. It's the first time Hartford's been in the postseason since this video began. Let's make a statement in our first matchup. Then again, we do have to remember the Rangers are a very good team, and they're going to put up a pretty good fight. We're exchanging the first 2 games. We're dropping game 3, and we're dropping game 4. This is definitely not the start I was looking for. Please win game number 5. We're going to shut them out. We have NHL 25, Thatcher Demko playing for me right now. Can he show up again in game 6? Absolutely not. He's allowing 7 goals. Yeah, so that's definitely not the start I was looking for, but at least we finally seen some postseason action. I'm not going to lie, this kind of makes it slightly worse. The Toronto Maple Leafs are Stanley Cup champions before us. I don't know, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. Granted, the Toronto Maple Leafs are a pretty solid team right now, don't get me wrong, but something about them winning a Stanley Cup before the Hartford Whalers, that just doesn't seem right. Lundell, you were really good. Marco Kasper, you were really good. Cutter Gaucher, you were terrible, and I can't even see Cole Caulfield's name. So that basically tells me everything I need to know. He had 2 goals. Shipley, you only had 2 points and you were -3s, 92 overall. Nah, some of the big time players did not show up for me. Thatcher Demko, you didn't show up either. Nah, everyone on this team was terrible during the postseason, so why am I really surprised we lost in the first round? We didn't deserve to win. Now, we don't have a ton of picks to work with here, so I'm not expecting this draft to be too great, but with the 90th overall pick, we gained a medium top 4 offensive defenseman. I mean, it could be a lot worse. Now, I think we have to rework the bottom 6 a little bit heading into next season. Like, we spent a lot of money on some not that great of players. Bobby McMahon, will start with you. $1 million for the next 2 years. I think that's going to work out for us. Everyone else, though, I think they're all going to be walking. I mean, Holtz, you can play AHL minutes for me. That's what you did last season. Here's $1 million. But then when it comes to everyone else, yeah, they're all going to be walking. Except for maybe Soderblom. He was actually pretty solid for us, but now he wants $2 million. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So if you're not spending too much money during the re-sign phase, it's time for us to spend all of our money. Starting with Shipley, he wants $11.5 million, but we can certainly make that happen. So I'll do $10.8 for the next 4 years. He's going to be sticking around with us. Michael Kesselring, you're not interested in signing an extension, and you want $11.5 million. million. I think we're going to be moving on from you. Braden Schneider, how much are you going to be looking for? You want 6.9 million. That's way more reasonable. However, you're only looking for one season, so I guess we'll hold off a little bit. Ridley Gregg, you've been a decent enough bottom six guy for us, but at 3.3 million, I feel like that's a little bit too expensive. Like Holmstrom, how much are you looking for? 1.3 million. I can certainly do that, and I'll actually do multiple years. We'll do 2 years at 1.5. And then of course, we do have to inquire with Thatcher Demko. How much is he looking for? 8.2 million. It's a little bit much, but we might be able to get something done. Like, what if we did $7 million? I gave you a no movement along with the modified no trade. We did 50% team protection. I think that's enough to re-sign Thatcher Demko. So with those deals handed out, we do need to make some adjustments to the bottom six. We also have to trade Kesselring away. There's a couple moves we have to make here. So I found the deal that I'm looking to pull off. It's going to be Kesselring Sim, the mediumly potential player we drafted a couple years ago. He's currently 21 years old and only a 61 overall, so I can't imagine he's going to turn to a superstar. 2 7th round picks are all going to be given up. Kevin Korchinski, Jackson Jacobson, and a 2nd round pick are all going to be acquired. I think we're fleecing Chicago. So we have a little bit of money left over for this season. We have $13 million, so we can hand out some 1-year deals. Chinikov, I'd love to bring you to the team, so I'll do $6.1 million for 1 season. I feel like I overpaid just enough to convince you to join the team. And then Malkin, although you're 41 years old, as long as you have X factors, which you do, I think you could be a great player for us. So I'll do $5.8 million for 1 season, and then those are going to be our 2 free agent signings. Now over the offseason, we really didn't have to change too much. We saw some nice progression with some of our young guys, and I think we're in a better spot this season. The defense is still looking amazing, but just look at our goaltending. Thatcher Demko, even if you're not the guy moving forward, we have Sebastian Cossa in the system. He's up to an 85. He's ready to take over whenever. Now what we're going to do this season, instead of simulating right up to the trade deadline, I'm actually going to stop the day before the trade deadline because I need to figure out what's going to be going on with Braden Schneider. If we're able to sign him to a multi-year deal, then I'll bring him back to the team. But if he's still only looking for a 1-year deal, then more than likely we're going to trade him. Alright, so things aren't going well for us right now, so we have to change things up. Matthew Nyes, you're just not performing for me this season. You only have 6 goals through almost 40 games. Last season, you were one of our best goal scorers. Now you can't find the back of the net. So I'm shipping you over to Utah. I don't think we're going to be able to get a Ginland this deal, but I'm really trying to get him. I know we can get Dylan Gunther. Getting Dylan Gunther is actually going to be very easy because we can get assets back. So how about we pick up Dylan Gunther as well as a 3rd and 4th rounder. I'm going to offer this over to Utah. They're accepting immediately. We just need to change things up here. Also, while I've stopped here, I might as well just re-sign Braden Schneider. He's looking for a 5-year deal, but I'd prefer to do 6 seasons because then we can keep him around for the rest of the rebuild. We'll do $6.5 million for the next 6 seasons. I think that's an incredible deal. I'll actually give him a little bit more. We'll do 6.6 for the next 6. So Braden Schneider, welcome back to the team. Chinikov, you're 1000% going to be walking. Capo Cackle, maybe you can stick around, but it has to be the right price. And honestly, this isn't terrible. I'll try 4.4 for the next 5. If he accepts that, we'll keep him on the team. If not, he's going to be walking. Now, unfortunately, Braden Schneider is going to be rejecting our offer, and I'm a little bit concerned with that because I feel like he's going to be insulted, and now he's going to be looking for $11 million. So that might have just backfired on us because he's now not interested in signing an extension with the team. He's going to look for $11 million, isn't he? Yeah, $10 million. Braden Schneider, you're just not worth that. So yeah, we'll trade him away right now. Things are not going our way. You know what? I've reconsidered things, so I'm going to make the wrong decision. Braden Schneider, I will bring you back to this team because we need a defensive defenseman here. I still want to do 6 seasons, but I guess we're not going to be doing that. I feel like there's a very good chance you accept this, but yeah, I have to give you significantly more now. So Braden Schneider's going to be accepting, but hopefully he lives up to that contract. Now at this point, I'm lost with the Hartford Whalers. I have no clue what is wrong with this team. Last season, they looked really good. I thought they were taking steps in the right direction. 25th in the entire league. I don't know what has happened to our team. I guess we're not scoring goals anymore. We're also not playing defense. Nah, this team just collapsed. Plain and simple. We are not a good team anymore. I don't really know what we have to do here. Dylan Gunther, what have you done since joining the team? I mean, first of all, you haven't been scoring since you joined the team. I can tell you that for free. You have 2 goals and 5 assists for 7 points and you're minus 11. Our second line stinks. You are shooting 2.6%. We would have been better off keeping Matthew Nyes here. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, I don't know why our second line is such a big failure, but it is not working out. Anton Lundell, why are you just not picking up assists this season? Last season, you had 18 goals and 50 assists for 68 points. You're plus 13. You look pretty solid. Now you just said, I'm done passing the puck. So yeah, I don't even know how to feel about that. No, I'm actually genuinely confused. Why did Lundell just say, I'm done passing the puck, and he just stopped passing? Like, he has 10 assists right now, and he's our primary playmaker on the second line. We're not making any trades because nothing can save this team, but But what just happened? Why are we all of a sudden just a terrible team? Now, you know what? If we're going to be a dumpster fire and be one of the worst teams in the entire league, we might as well get a great draft pick. Yeah, about that. 11th in the entire league, and we missed the playoffs with a 45-31-6 record. Now, what on earth happened? Well, after the trade deadline, we won 17 games, and of those 17, the final 12 we won in a row. We won the final 12 games of the season, won 17 games after the trade deadline, and still missed the playoffs. So if this team just wasn't atrocious through the first 60 games, we would have made the playoffs. Plain and simple. If you guys weren't complete frauds during the first 60 games, we would have been completely fine. Demko started to keep the puck out of the net. Sebastian Cossa was slightly better, but it doesn't matter because 45 wins aren't enough to get us into the postseason. The Minnesota Wild are Stanley Cup champions. Don't suck in the first 60 games, and we'd be perfectly fine. Like, that's really all I can say. Just don't suck in the first 60 games. If we didn't suck in the first 60 games, we'd be a top 5 team. But we said, nah, we're going to play 500 hockey up until the final 20 games. Now, this season was a disaster, so we need to bounce back in the draft. And that's what we're going to do. Klimchuk's going to be acquired. Low elite potential. He's a 65 overall. This guy might be able to turn into something. And hopefully he does turn into something, because we could use some help. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting an absolute steal in the third round with the 83rd overall pick, a medium elite potential defensive defenseman, beginning as a 52 overall. Unlike the last medium elite potential player we drafted, this guy actually has a chance at developing. So we have $6 million in cap space to re-sign a couple pieces. Chinikov, you're not coming back to the team. Ridley Gregg, I'm not 100% sure if I should bring you back. You know what? I'm not going to do so. Now, there's a handful of guys we have to re-sign here, and we don't have a ton of money to work with. Matt Boldy, he only wants one season. I'm going to be honest, Matt Boldy, we might be moving on from you. Lundell, you were really good after the trade deadline. Prior to the trade deadline, you were absolutely atrocious. So hopefully you figured things out here. I'll do $7.5 million for the next 4 years. That's about $3 million more than what you're getting paid right now, so we should be able to keep you around. Marco Casper, you want $7.3 million. I think we're going to move on from you. You still have medium elite potential, so I should be able to get something for you. Riker Evans, you're going to be looking for an absolute bag now, and honestly, I don't blame you. You're an 85 overall, so we're likely going to trade you and get some younger assets. We're going to go ahead and make a handful of trades here, and ideally get another elite power forward. As Matt Boldy, if I'm going to be trading you away, I want to get an upgrade. Alright, so here's what I'm looking at doing. Matt Boldy, I'm going to send you back over to the Minnesota Wild. Riker Evans is going to be traded as well. We're bringing in Dakota Terry. Last season in 82 games, he had 27 goals. He is a pure goal scorer, and we could use a pure goal scorer on the team. I think we might be able to get one draft pick back in this deal, and if that's going to be the case, how about you give us a second rounder? I'm going to offer this package over. We probably could have gotten another second round pick, but you know what? I'll take that deal right there. All right, so I'm looking to improve the team slightly here. Adam Fantilli will bring you in. I know we just traded away a power forward in Matt Boldy. However, bringing him back to the team is just going to cost way too much money. At least Adam Fantilli's locked down for 2 seasons at $5 million. That's a little bit more reasonable. They're going to be rejecting this offer. How about I give you another second rounder? I don't think it's going to cost too much more than this, and it doesn't look like it will. All right, so we need to sign somebody on a 1-year deal. Who is that going to be? Noah Cates? You know what? I think that's a great deal. I'll do $3.4 million for 1 season. No Cates, welcome to the team. I did see Jake Neighbors down there, and Jake Neighbors would honestly be interesting. Okay, hold on, I just saw Sidney Crosby. Nope, Crosby's coming to the team. I don't care if you're washed and 41 years old. Here's $3.9 million. Crosby, welcome to the team. You're not accepting immediately? I know for a fact no one's outbidding me. But yeah, where's Jake Neighbors? Jake Neighbors was the other guy I was interested in. He wants $5.3 million for 1 season. That is very expensive. Here you go. Now, before we get carried away here, we do need to bring in one defenseman. I don't know who that defenseman is going to be. Cody Ceci? Yeah, I'm just kidding. We are not bringing Cody Ceci onto the team. Like, that is actually one of the last players I want to bring to this team. Let me find some 79 overall or something. Actually, we're going to go with Jane Struble. $900K for 2 years? Yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. And then I suppose we could also use a backup goaltender here because I do think we need one for the AHL. And Vitek Vanacek, you can be that guy. So this is what the team's looking like this season. Dakota Terry, I know you're only an 86 overall, but you scored a lot of goals last season, and we need goal scorers in our top 6, so that's where you're going to be playing. Honestly, the offense looks really good here. We know for a fact our defense is looking elite, and then when it comes to goaltending, an 87 and an 86 overall, we can definitely rely on these two guys. Just don't suck in the first 60 games. That's all I'm asking. You guys don't have to be a super team or anything. You don't have to win every game. Just don't be atrocious in the first 60 games. Now look what happens when you're not absolutely garbage in the first 60 games of the season. A 42, 19, and 2 record. This is what I was expecting last season. These numbers right here are exactly what I was expecting last season. However, I would like our defense to be slightly better, because right now that's kind of mid. Shipley, 67 points so far, he's looking pretty good. Cole Caulfield, 63. Lundell, he's picking up 53. Karagoshe, 53. So the offense isn't looking too bad. Even Sidney Crosby's performing for us. Dylan Gunther, a little bit of a disappointment this season, but Dakota Terry, he's stepping up. He's making up for that little bit of a disappointment. He's picking up a lot of goals. And then when it comes to goaltending, Thatcher Demko, 31 wins, 1 shot, a 900 save percentage, and a 306. I need you to be better, Demko. I just need you to be a little bit better, because the defensive numbers on this team just aren't good enough. Your goaltending numbers aren't good enough. I need somebody to take the next step. Now, if I'm being honest, I actually don't think we're going to make any trades this season. I actually can't really think of anything I want to do. I like the way our defense is looking right now. Like, we have a handful of defensive defensemen, a couple really elite defensemen on this team. I think we just need the bottom 6 to start playing better defense, and then we'll be fine, because I don't think it's our defensemen letting us down. Honestly, I think it's the bottom 6 forwards. So we're not making any moves here. We're currently second in the entire league. Hopefully by the end of the year we can go on another heater and maybe even finish first in the entire league. Also, before we get to the re-sign phase, I just want to double check with Sebastian Cossa. He's looking for 1.4 million. If we did 2 years, it's 1.5 million. We're going to do 2 years at 1.6. We're going to make sure he returns to the team, because I wouldn't be surprised if he's taking over for Thatcher Demko sooner than later. So to finish out the season, the boys are looking incredible. First in the entire league with a 53, 23, and 6 record. I need perfection moving forward. We've made it back to the postseason. Last time we were in the playoffs, it was a massive disappointment. That's not going to happen again. We're going to step up when it matters. Thatcher Demko is going to play like NHL 25 Thatcher Demko. We have the Red Wings in the first round. We need some postseason success. We're 5 years into the video. We haven't even won a postseason series. That can't continue. I'm not going to lie, that's kind of wild to think about. We're 5 years in and we haven't won a postseason series yet. Granted, last season we kind of got screwed. I'm not going to lie. Like, how on earth did we not make the playoffs? 11th in the entire league. But on top of that, why were we just atrocious through the first 60 games? Like, that just still doesn't make any sense. We're taking down the Red Wings in a sweep, but now we have the Tampa Bay Lightning, one of the best teams in the NHL. So this is definitely not going to be an easy matchup whatsoever. However, we are on a bit of a winning streak. That winning streak is now over. We dropped game number 1 and game number 3, but luckily in game 2 and game 4, we were able to score 7 goals. So how about we get another 7-goal performance here? It's not quite 7 goals, but a win is a win is a win is a win. And we're moving on to game 6, which we're going to be losing 2-1. So it all comes down to game 7. We've scored 7 goals a handful of times. Now we're in game 7. I don't know if that means anything, but I think we're about to win this game. Jackson Jacobson's picking up the first goal of the game. Moving into the second, it is all Hartford. We are dominating right now, and we're going to win this one 5-2. So we've now won back-to-back rounds. We've made it to the conference finals, and who are we going to be matching up against next? Who's going to be putting some pressure on us? It looks like it's going to be the Washington Capitals, but I'm not scared of Washington. Right now, the Whalers are looking pretty solid, and I think that's going to continue heading into the conference finals. We split the series, though. Hartford, I need you to win game number 5. Can you do that for me? They're going to be dropping it 3-2. We can't go out like this. We have made it all the way to the conference finals. We can't start folding now. We need to find a way to win when it matters most. We're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, they're going to be taking a 3-2 lead. Pontus Holmberg is even scoring a goal. No, what has happened to our team? Also, why was Sebastian Cossa in between the pipes? Is he our new starting goaltender now? I just noticed that. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Let me just go double check with that. Sebastian Cossa, were you our goaltender for the entire postseason, or did we just throw you in for that round right there? Offensively, Lundell did what he could. Dylan Gunther, he did what he could. Crosby was one of our top performers. Honestly, that just can't be the case here. We need some of the other superstars on this team stepping up, like Cole Caulfield, who was a complete fraud. Bro, why are you even on this team? It doesn't make any sense. And then when it comes to goaltending, Cossa was our guy the entire postseason. 10 wins, 0 shutouts, but he had a 922 and a 249. All right, Cossa, you're the guy moving forward. Demko, it's time for us to move on from you. Sebastian Cossa is our new starting goaltender, and we're sticking with him moving forward. So we didn't even end up losing to the eventual Stanley Cup champions. The Edmonton Oilers are going to take down the Washington Capitals. I'm not going to lie, that was a heartbreaking loss right there. Like, we really should have won a Stanley Cup, but the boys just folded when it mattered, especially Cole Caulfield. I brought you here to score goals. You were supposed to be a superstar for us, and you're doing nothing for me right now. Now, I can't even celebrate a low elite potential who is a 66 overall in the first round. I can't celebrate this because I would have preferred to have the 33rd overall pick, because that means we would have won a Stanley Cup. Now, I think we could potentially have a couple good draft picks coming up. So we just secured a low elite potential defensive defenseman. Now, with the 163rd overall pick, we're going to go a little bit off the board. Now, how far off the board are we going? Well, about 30 picks. Low franchise potential. There is like a 0% chance he actually has low franchise potential. But what if he does? He's going to end up having low elite potential. You know what? I can't really be too mad at that. Also, with our final pick of the draft, we are going incredibly off the board. The furthest I've ever been off the board. We are selecting this man like 300 picks early. Does he actually have low elite potential? Of course not. He was projected 500th overall. Why would he have low elite potential? Alright, at this point, I'm actually not too sure what it's going to take. Noah Cates, I don't believe you're going to be coming back to this team. Maybe you will. 2.8 is not terrible. Sidney Crosby, you're still willing to come back to the team. You want $4 million? You know what, Crosby? You will come back. I'm honestly a little bit surprised you're not retiring, but for $3.7 million, you can certainly return. Jake Neighbors, how much money do you want? You want 3.4. Do we just run the exact same team? Hold on, that might be the play here. Noah Cates, I'll give you a contract as well. I'll do 2.7 for 1 year. We're just going to run it back with the exact same team. We'll trade Thatcher Demko away to free up a little bit of cap space because there is extensions we do have to hand out. But yeah, I think we're actually in a pretty solid position right now. Bobby McMahon, you will leave the team though. Losing stick on the ice legend Bobby McMahon, it's a sad day. Alright, so there's a lot of extensions that have to be handed out, starting with Cole Caulfield. He wants $12.9 million. I have to give it to you. Even though you didn't step up for me, I still have to give this to you. However, I do want to save some money. Maybe we can do like $11 million or something. I'll do $11 million for the next 7. Cole Caulfield, welcome back to the team. Cutter Gaucher, I am terrified about. This man might ask for like $18 billion. He wants $14 million for 1 year. Cutter Gaucher, I might trade you away. And I'm not going to lie, Terry, you might move up to the first line. You are a pure goal scorer. You could replace Cutter Gaucher on the top line. And for $8 million for the next 4, I think this makes the most sense. We're going to do $7.7 million for the next 4 years. And Cutter Gaucher, I'm going to trade you away. Jackson Jacobson, I'm not really too sure what your role is going to be on this team. So there's actually a very good chance I actually just ride out your contract here. I'll qualify you as an RFA next season, then we'll trade you away. But yeah, I honestly don't know what to do with you. But before we do anything else, let's go trade Demko. Okay, trading Cutter Gaucher actually could be the best thing to happen to this team because we might just be able to walk away with 1 million elite players. We're looking at picking up these 3 guys from the Calgary Flames. All of them are young, they all have amazing potential, and they all could be superstars for us in the future. They're going to be rejecting this deal right here, but I could just throw one of our other guys into this deal. And who could one of our other guys be? Adam Fantilli potentially, maybe even Capo Caco. Capo Caco is at least locked down for the next 4 years. Adam Fantilli does need a contract extension, so I'll throw him into this deal right here. Yeah, I'm sending this over to Calgary. We could have probably gotten a 2nd round pick, but I like that deal for us. So I went ahead and traded for Mann, but he is an RFA, so we do have to give him an extension. I actually don't know how much he's looking for. He wants $6.8 million. How about I do 6.4? Actually, we'll do 6.3 for the next 3 years. He'll be willing to accept that, and then he'll join the team. We also still have to go get rid of Thatcher Demko, so how about we do that? All right, so this is what we're going to do with Demko. I'm going to send him over to the Anaheim Ducks. We're bringing in Seneca in a 2nd round pick. We could use another left winger on the team, because right now we have a lot of right wingers. We don't have left wingers, though. Then again, I could just move one of the right wingers over to left wing, but we're not going to do that. I want to bring Seneca to the team instead. I also feel like I should mention there's a very high chance we don't re-sign Seneca. He's probably just going to be here for 1 season. Okay, hold on, wait a minute. Holmstrom 1.5 for 2 years. Yeah, I'm doing that. You're an 85 overall. That's a no-brainer. Now, because we have so much cap space, I will bring in Joel Holford for 1 year. I'll do 1.5 million for 1 season. But outside of him, we might just run a very cheap team this season. Like, our forward core is amazing. Our defensive core is in a really good spot. We just have a lot of really cheap players on our team. Is this guy an RFA? I'm assuming he is. Yes, he is. Okay, how much do I have to offer to get him on the team? Hold on now. If I overpay this man by a ton, I'm talking like $4 million, I might only have to give up like a 3rd round pick or something. What exactly would I have to give up if I gave him $4 million? Our 2nd round pick. Okay, I'm definitely doing that. If we can somehow walk away with bro, that would be an absolute steal. Like getting a mediumly potential player for a 2nd round pick? No, that's a fleece. So it looks like he's going to be accepting our offer, but Anaheim, are you going to be matching it? I can only imagine you are, unless you just don't have the cap space. Now, this is certainly not a surprise whatsoever. The Ducks are matching the offer sheet. It was worth a try, though. You know what? We're going to try to do this with a couple other teams. Vancouver, I'm going to overpay this prospect by a ton. I'm going to give him $3 million for the next 2 years. Kavasha has medium elite potential. Yes, he's 23 years old right now, and he probably won't turn into a superstar. However, if I only have to give up a second round pick for him, I think it's worth it, especially since he has medium elite potential. And then Berkeley Catton, I'll do the exact same with you. However, I'm not going to offer you nearly as much. I'll just do $2 million for the next two. That means we have to give up a third round pick. I think that's worth it as well. So we'll see if we pick up either of those guys. I doubt it's going to happen, but you never know. So Berkeley Catton's accepting the offer, but the real question is Seattle going to be matching? And Seattle's immediately matching. They're not messing around. So Vancouver, are you going to match with Kavasha, or are you going to take that second round pick that I'm offering you? It looks like they're not going to be matching, so we're picking up Kavasha. I think that's a pretty solid pickup right there. Granted, I have no clue what Bro's trade value is. We should probably go take a look at that. Like, we gave up a second round pick, and what's your trade value? Decently high. So I think that was actually a really good move for us. All right, so we made some aggressive moves over the offseason, but I think our forward core has a lot of potential this season. There's a lot of pure goal scorers on this team. We have a lot of elite defensemen that are definitely going to be keeping the puck out of the net. And then when it comes to goaltending, Sebastian Cossa, you took over in the postseason last season. Now it's time for you to be our regular full-time starter. Let's see what you're going to be able to accomplish. Also, I'm not really interested in making any trades this season, so we're just going right to the end of the season. All right, so after losing Cutter Gaucher along with a handful of other pieces, the Hartford Whalers weren't quite as good this season. 5th in the entire league with a 46-27-9 record. An absolute shame. I was expecting this team to be better. I was thinking we were going to take the next step. Cole Caulfield, I just gave you a massive payday and you scored 29 goals for me. Bro, what are you doing? Luckily, Terry was here and he's picking up 32 goals. He's carrying the way. The offense was definitely producing, but were we keeping the puck out of the net? I don't think so. A 903 and a 297 are definitely not good enough numbers from Cossa. He did have 42 wins and 5 shutouts, but it's clearly not good enough here. We're moving on to the postseason. We have the Maple Leafs in the first round. Last season we made it to the conference finals. This season we're making it to the cup final at the bare minimum. So now that I said that, what are the odds that we get eliminated in less than 5 games? I'm thinking we're going to lose in 5 games now, but I guess not. We're winning game number 1. I guess it is a possibility we still lose in 5 games, but not anymore because we're splitting the series. Game 5 is going to be a big one. We need to steal this one away from the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that's what we're doing in overtime. So close it out in game 6 and we can move on to the second round. The boys are looking not bad so far. I was a little bit concerned when I said Stanley Cup final at the bare minimum because I was fully expecting us to lose in the first round after I said that. But you know what? We're not playing too bad so far. We're looking amazing versus Florida. We had a 3-0 series lead, but now we've dropped game 4. Do not drop game number 5 as well. Okay, do not blow a 3-0 series lead. I cannot emphasize this enough. It's time for revenge. We have the Washington Capitals up next. It is revenge season. We are beating the Washington Capitals this time. We're winning game 1 but dropping game 2. We're splitting the series versus the Capitals. Game 5 is the most important game. Don't lose game number 5 again. We're winning it this time. We won game number 5. Now win me game 6. Can we move on to the cup final? Yes, we can. We're here. We've made it to the Stanley Cup final. There's only one team in front of us. That's the Colorado Avalanche. Jared Bednar is ready to get his revenge, and Hartford's ready to win their first. So it all comes down to this. One final series, a best of 7 against the Colorado Avalanche. We are down 3-1. You can't make this up. Well, we have a pretty big hill to climb here, and it all starts right here. We are allowing 3 goals in the first period. We are down 5-1. We got smoked. Okay, so technically we did achieve the bare minimum, which was making it to the Stanley Cup final, and then we only won 1 game and we got smoked in every other game. So yeah, that's kind of tough. So I don't really know if I can be mad here, because technically we did what I was asking for, which was a Stanley Cup final appearance. We just proceeded to lose in the Stanley Cup final. Not what I was expecting. The offense, kinda mid, I'm not gonna lie. Like Capo Caco -9, Cole Caulfield, find a way to score goals. Like, come on, my guy. You are supposed to be one of the top players on this team, and you're averaging like 0.5 points per game in the postseason. I need you to do something for me. I need you to be that superstar. Cossa, a 912 and a 269, 1 shutout, 13 wins. I can't really be mad at these numbers, especially if the team just refuses to score in front of you. So year 6 is now complete. We have 4 years left in the rebuild. I need this team to take the next step or something. I need this team to wake up. I need to see some crazy development because we can't be losing deep in the postseason anymore. No more conference finals losses, no more Stanley Cup losses, and of course when I say that, that doesn't mean you can lose in the first or second round. We need Stanley Cup wins and only Stanley Cup wins moving forward. Alright, so I want to drop back a little bit in the draft because there's 2 players around this range that I'm really interested in. I don't think this is going to be enough, and of course it's not going to be enough. I'll give you the 98th overall pick as well, and that should be enough for us to get those 2 picks, but apparently it isn't. Honestly, I can't really blame you. I'm not really offering you that great of value. Maybe you'll accept this. It looks like Pittsburgh's saying yes. Now hopefully we can get at least one good player out of these 2, because of course it is a little bit of a risk. Like, we're not guaranteed to get any superstars, but the first guy I was looking at was this guy who has semi-accurate medium league potential. Are we actually going to get a medium league potential player here? It doesn't look like it. Medium top 6, starting off as 62 overall, not the end of the world. Now when it comes to the 40th overall pick, who are we going to be looking at? Well, we could potentially get another medium top 6 potential player, but I'm hoping he has at least low league potential because of the gym. So let's see what we're walking away with. Medium top 6 forward. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. 2 medium top 6 potential guys. I can't really complain about that. Now we are going to get one more good player before we end the draft. Unfortunately, it's a low league potential grinder. So yeah, he's basically useless. He will be more helpful than this enforcer right here, but these enforcers might be the most useless player type in this game. Now we have a handful of tough decisions to make here. Jackson Jacobson, I don't think we're going to bring you back to the team. You want 8.5 million. You've turned into a bottom 6 player for us. I just can't commit that much money to you. Noah Cates, you're going to be walking. Shakir, you're going to be walking. Jake Neighbors, I'm kind of interested in seeing how much you want. 4.3 million isn't too bad, but we have a handful of young guys ready to jump to the lineup, so we're not going to bring you back. Seneca, how much are you looking for? 6.5. I'll give you your qualifying offer, which is 4.4 million, then I'll trade you away. Jaden Struble, you're probably looking for a fair chunk of money. You want $6 million. I'm not doing that. And then when it comes to all these rookies, I'll give them their entry level contracts. Also, Joel Hofer can come back for another season because he's only looking for like 825k, but I'll be a nice guy and give you 900k. Now before we go ahead and start doing a ton of trades and making a ton of moves, there's a handful of guys you have to bring back. Kevin Korchinski being one of them. So far he's been one of our best defensemen, so giving him 8.4 million for the next 3 years is an absolute steal. Another guy I'm looking to bring back to the team is Kavasha, as long as we can do something reasonable, and this is an amazing deal. Bringing him to the team might have been one of the best moves we made so far in this video. We're going to do 3.2 million for the next 3 years. He's going to be an elite third pairing guy for us. Medvinov, I don't really know too much about you. I know you're playing bottom 6 minutes for me, but 4.7 million is a little bit wild. I would like to do a 3-year deal with you, but right now you're only an 83 overall, so yeah, I'm not giving you that much money. Meanwhile, Sidney Crosby at 43 years old is still here. Shout out to bro. Also, I guess we do have to re-sign Sebastian Kosa. He's not interested in signing an extension, but you know what? We're still going to get one done. Also, I believe in you, Kosa. You're going to be our guy. You're going to be the guy to win us the Stanley Cup, so I'm giving you a no movement as well. We're doing 6.5 for the next 3. So we're going to make a bit of a risky deal. I don't think it's that risky though, because I think we're just going to completely fleece Winnipeg here. So we're going to bring in this lowly potential player, Daniel Drouin Delorier. Instead of having triple B, we have triple D. If you know, you know. He's a playmaker that can definitely play some bottom 6 minutes. But more importantly, we're getting Winnipeg's first round pick. Now, Winnipeg's team looks terrible. Like, they have nobody here. Granted, they are well below the cap floor, so they could make some moves in order to improve that team. But in the event that they can improve that team, yeah, that first round pick is going to have a lot of value. So I'm going to send a second round pick over as well. We'll throw in a 7th as well, and that will be enough to get this deal done. Now, we just have to pray that Winnipeg doesn't figure it out. Now, we just have to make a couple more trades before we head to next season. Seneca, I'm going to send you over to the LA Kings. We're getting Robertson. I think he can be a really good bottom 6 guy for us. He's a decent enough overall on a really cheap contract, so you know what? I'm definitely not going to complain about that. I'll throw in a 3rd round pick, and that should be enough. I guess not. How about I give you a 7th round pick for this season? I know it doesn't fit your trade block, but it should be enough to get this one done. Now, y'all are getting greedy right now, and you know what? We're actually going to make this a lot simpler on ourselves. So you remember how we brought Mann to the team last season, then I gave him a big contract? Well, we got to move on from his contract because he's now one of the worst on the team. He just dropped to an 82 overall. I'm not paying him 6.3 million to do nothing for me. So yeah, LA, take on that contract. Now, before we make any more trades, we might as well re-sign a couple of these guys. Triple D's, I'm going to be bringing you back to the team. We'll do 2.9 for the next 3 years. Robertson, I want to bring you back as well, but we got to do a 3-year deal. You're going to be willing to accept that. So how about we do 2.4 million for the next 3? 2.4 I think would probably be enough to get him, but I'll do 2.5 for 100% fact. And then after handing out all those extensions, we have a lot of cap space right now, like $20 million. Let's go get a superstar for this season. Like, who is interested in signing a 1-year deal? David Pastrnak. Welcome to the team. Like, this is an absolute no-brainer. 17.5 million. David Pastrnak, welcome to the team. We only have $3.1 million left, but that's perfectly fine. So I knew our team was going to be good this season. Just looking at the overalls, things are looking amazing. Like, we have David Pastrnak playing second line minutes. That's how much offensive depth we have on this team. Then you go ahead and take a look at the defense. Why do we have an 87 overall in the third pairing? Yeah, bro is an 87 overall that was drafted first overall. We have him under contract for the next 3 years. I completely forgot he was on the team. But yeah, he's turning into a superstar. Meanwhile, Sebastian Cossa just stopped the puck in the Stanley Cup final and will be Stanley Cup champions. Actually, I shouldn't say that. You were already stopping the puck for us. Score goals in the Stanley Cup final and we'll be cup champs. Simple as that. Like Sebastian Cossa in the 2 postseasons he's played in so far, he's looked really good. We just haven't produced offensively in front of him. Also, I'm feeling really confident with the team. There's no moves that I really want to make, so we'll go right to the end of the season. And more than likely, we're going to be doing that every season moving forward. With all the upgrades we saw across the board, it's no surprise the Hartford Whalers are posting a 60-15-7 record. We have the best offense with the best defense. This team looks incredible this season. From top to bottom, there's no weaknesses. Our offense is on another level. Our defense is on another level. Sidney Crosby and Dave Pastrnak are both performing right now, even though they're both late into their careers. Honestly, you love to see it. Cossa, 48 wins, 5 shots, a 922 and a 223. We know what the goal is for this season. Stanley Cup or bust. We're taking on the Boston Bruins in the first round. Win. All you have to do is win. We made it to the conference finals and lost. Then we made it to the Stanley Cup final and lost. No more losing. It's only winning moving forward, and that's what we're doing right now. Why did we just have to allow 8 goals? Everything was looking great, and then we allowed 8 goals. I don't care if we have a 3-1 series lead. Why did we allow 8 goals? Nah, like I was really about to get super gassed up with this team, and then we allowed 8 goals in game number 3. Why did we have to allow 8 goals? Everything could have been perfectly fine. And then we allowed 8 goals. You know what? We're not going to worry about it too much. Our defense is locked in. The offense is locked in. We're going to keep on winning games here. We're winning 9-6 in game number 4. So the offense was superb in that game. The defense, very, very questionable. But you know what? That questionable defense has led us to an 8-2 record. We're moving on to the conference finals, and we have the New York Rangers up next. Give me 4 more victories in the conference finals, and then give me 4 victories in the Stanley Cup final. That's all I'm asking for. Can we take a 3-1 series lead? It doesn't look like it. The Rangers are stealing game 4. It's a best of 3 moving forward. Game 5 is a must win, and we're going to win it. Now win game 6 and make it back to the Stanley Cup final. We had to make this difficult, didn't we? So it all comes down to this game right here. This game is going to decide it all. Can we make it to the Stanley Cup final? Well, we're exchanging goals in the first period. Moving into the second, they're outscoring us 2-1. Why are we being outscored? Why is Nick Waugh taking us down? There's no way we go out like this. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I just want to point out the goal scorers in this game. Severson, Nathan Gaucher, Brett Berard, Matt Beniers, Nick Waugh, Casey Milstat. A team that had all of these goal scorers right here just made the cup final. There is no way. Like, I'm not saying those are bad players by any means, but imagine that in the conference finals, game 7, in order to make it to the Stanley Cup final, those were your goal scorers. First of all, that would be the strangest team in the world. Second of all, imagine all of those specific players stepping up in game 7 when you need them to. Like, it's one thing for one of those guys to score a goal. Like, it's one thing for Brett Berard to score 1 goal, or Casey Milstat to score 1 goal, or even Nick Waugh to score a goal. But all of them scored in the same game, and they all scored to eliminate us. Nah, something about that just doesn't sit right with me. Sebastian Cossa, I gave you no movement. I mean, you put up decent numbers. I was fully expecting you to completely fold after I gave you that no movement. Oh, you're up to a 90 overall. You better not fold next season then. I'm not sure how much cap space we have moving into next season, but hold on now. I want to try to bring a couple guys back to the team. Medvedev, I'm going to keep it a stack. I do not care about bringing you back. You want 6.1 million. It's not happening. 36-year-old David Pastrnak, what are you looking for? Could we do something? Yes, we can. Can we do 3 years? There is a chance we bring Bro back. I will do 11.8 million for the next 3. And then Crosby, as long as you don't retire, I'll try to bring you back to the team. So we'll wait for the salary cap to go up a little bit. Hopefully David Pastrnak's going to be accepting. Yes, he is. So he's sticking around for the rest of the video. He's one of those guys where I don't really care too much about his overall. I'm just more focused on him having X factors. By the way, remember how we had the Winnipeg Jets pick? Well, that's going to drop from 4 to 5. So we're getting the top 5 pick after losing in the conference finals. So I think we're all right. Also, we're going to check in on our retired players. Sidney Crosby, you're not retiring. We're running it back. Crosby's returning for another year at like 45 years old. Nah, like real talk. Crosby, I don't care what your overall is. You are an 80 overall. You got 1 more left in you. I know for a fact Sidney Crosby can run it back for 1 more year. And you know what? I'm not giving him a 1-year deal. 3.3 for the next 2 years. Crosby's sticking around. All right, so I got a pretty good plan here. I think this is a plan that cannot backfire. So what we're going to do is simulate the first overall pick. The St. Louis Blues are selecting that sniper. I'm going to trade for that sniper. However, I'm not going to use our pick to trade for that sniper, but instead we have a player who's about to become an RFA that I don't really want to pay. So I'm going to send him over to the St. Louis Blues, probably along with a second round pick, and we're going to bring in the guy you drafted first overall. Unless we can go 1-for-1 here, which I know for a fact we can't. So yeah, what draft pick do you want? I guess I could give you the 31st overall. That can make things very simple, but how about I give you the 64th overall instead? You know what? Let's just keep this simple. Here's the 31st overall. I am overpaying to get this guy, but you know what? It's worth it. And they're still not accepting. How many draft picks is this going to take? Because I will trade all of my draft picks away. You know what? How about we just try to fit their trade block a little bit? How about I give you a 3rd and 4th rounder that actually fits your trade block? That 2nd rounder didn't fit your trade block, even though it had more value. I guess this trade is going to get it done. So we've brought in that guy who will be on his entry-level contract for the next 3 years. Then we're going to simulate up to the 5th overall pick. And with the 5th overall pick, I'm going to draft this playmaker right here, who's starting as an 82 overall. Yeah, we just got the 2 best players in the draft. So we're really not going to do anything over the offseason. I'm just going to sign a handful of these rookies right here, and then we're going to be ready to go. Like, there's no one we have to replace. Yeah, like, we're literally going to do nothing. It's going to be the exact same team. We're just going to hope for a different result. Okay, so unfortunately, I think we are going to be losing some pieces. One of these guys is going to be leaving the team. Shipley, I don't want you to be that player. $15 million is quite a bit, but we're going to get that down. And you know what? We actually might be able to get that down significantly more than I thought. Can we get that to around 13 million? It looks like it. So here's 13 million for the next 6. So he's going to be accepting that deal. Now, Dylan Guenther or Brain Schneider. We're going with Dylan Guenther. Now, the reason I'm going with Dylan Guenther is we have a really good medium league potential defenseman in the wings right now. I shouldn't say in the wings. He was playing 3rd pairing minutes for me last season. So yeah, he's going to end up replacing Braden Schneider next season. We're going to have a lot of offensive defensemen on this team, but you know what? Having offense isn't a bad thing. Holmstrom, you're also going to walk because I know you want more than 1.5 million. That's really all I can give you. So yeah, we handed out 2 extensions. Let's roll. So we're basically just running it back with the exact same team. However, a handful of guys have developed into 90 overalls. Sid the Kid, you're not really a kid anymore because you're 45 years old, but you have X factors, and X factors allow you to see a lot of success in this game regardless of overall. When it comes to the defense, yeah, that's spectacular. We have 5 90 overalls. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous right there. And then 90 overall Kosa. How many 90 overalls do we actually have on this team? We have 1 in Kosa, 2 in Cole Caulfield, 3 in Shipley. David Pastrnak would have been 4, but instead it's going to be Lundell, 5 in Dylan Guenther, and then another 5 on the defense. So we have 10 90 overalls on this team. This has to be the best team I've ever built. No, like seriously, I cannot think of a time where I've had 10 90 overalls on my team at one time. Like, truthfully, we probably should have 11 because David Pastrnak probably shouldn't have regressed. But you know what? He did regress, but we're not going to spend too much time on that. 10 90 overalls. If y'all can't win this season, we're never going to win. All right, so we're not messing around here. Right to the end of the postseason. Right until we win a Stanley Cup, which should be somewhere around June 15th. We're just going to simulate the postseason and watch us win. We're winning game number 1. That's perfect. Shutting them out in game number 2. We then got shut out in game 3, but you know what? That's fine. Okay, no, things are not fine. Things are not fine right now. Okay, maybe they are. After I saw back-to-back losses, I got terrified. I got a little bit spooked. I'm not going to lie. But you know what? At the end of the day, I should just trust the boys. They're going to find ways to win. We're taking down the Philadelphia Flyers and we're moving on to the second round. We're beating the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first 2 games. Can we sweep the Toronto Maple Leafs? It doesn't look like it. They're putting a little bit of pressure on us, but it's not quite enough. We're moving on to the conference finals. We have the New Jersey Devils up next. We can beat the New Jersey Devils. We have the talent to beat this team, but can we show up when it matters? Yes, we can. We have made it to the Stanley Cup final. 4 more victories is all I'm asking for. We have an elite team here. This team's not going to be quite as good next season. We need to win right now. We need to beat the Nashville Predators. I need y'all to lock in. Can you lock in for me? And in game 7, they're finding a way to do it. I was so scared. I was terrified heading into game 7. The game paused for a second. It got me even more scared, but we did it. We finally won the Stanley Cup with the Hartford Whalers. And you know what? We earned this Stanley Cup. We are the best team in the NHL. A 58-22-2 record. We were dominating. 4.18 goals per game, the best offense. 2.44 goals allowed, the best defense. And then when it came to our scoring, David Pastrnak is back up to a 90 overall. 50 goals, 49 assists, 99 points. Look at Sidney Crosby at 45 years old, 20 goals, 44 helpers, 64 points. He is an 80 overall. He still has a bunch of good years left in him. I think as long as he continues to play for this team, we're going to keep on seeing success. And look at Kosa, 44 wins, 11 shutouts, a 915, a 244, and that was all the momentum we had heading into the postseason and in the playoffs when it mattered. Dylan Guenther, David Pastrnak, Lundell, Cole Caulfield. Where is my man Sidney Crosby? 8 goals, 3 assists for 11 points. It doesn't matter how old he is, he's going to find ways to produce. And when it came to our goaltending, Sebastian Kosa, 16 wins, 2 shouts, a 908 and a 262. We are finally Stanley Cup champions, but there's only one right way to end this video. Of course, we have to three-peat. On top of three-peating, there is one thing that we have to worry about. Sidney Crosby retiring. You have another good year left in you, and he's actually running it back. He's running it back at 46 years old. It makes no sense, but I'm not going to complain. Now, on top of winning a Stanley Cup, we're going to win in the draft as well. We finally got the 33rd overall pick, meaning we won the Stanley Cup. And what did we get with that 33rd overall? A lowly potential playmaker. Now, Braden Schneider, Holmstrom, both you guys helped us win Stanley Cups, but unfortunately, we're going to have to let you walk. We just don't have the cap space for you. We're moving into the final 2 seasons. I'm going to keep it a stack. We're going to have to make some trades next season because, yeah, there's no way we can keep everyone on this team. All right, so there's a couple players we have to re-sign, Thomas Harley being one of them. And of course, Harley's going to look for an absolute bag, but this actually isn't as bad as I thought it would be. I thought he was going to be saying like 17 million. So considering I was comparing it to 17 million, 12.7 really isn't that bad. Like, it's about $2 million more than what he's getting paid right now. We can make that work. Lundell, on the other hand, 15 million's a bit wild. I don't think we can do that. I think there's a good chance you're leaving the team. However, I shouldn't say that. If I can get this down to like $13 million, we can maybe bring you back. 13 million might not work. How about 13.5? That's not going to work. $14 million. Do I have to do 14 million with you? I'm going to offer you 14. I don't know if that leaves us enough money for Thomas Harley, but we're going to find a way to make it work. And then with everyone else, we'll just figure it out as we go. Now, I have some good news for us. Not only is Lundell going to be accepting his deal, but so is Thomas Harley. So both of them are coming back to the team. Now, the only thing we have to do heading into next season is sign 2 goaltenders. Who are the cheapest goaltenders out there? That's who we're bringing in. I don't care if you're a 72 overall. I just need somebody that's willing to sign for like 900k. Kolosov, welcome to the team. And then the other guy we're going to be bringing in is this other guy that was looking for 850k. Yeah, we need 2 cheap options and then we'll be ready to roll. So we finally accomplished what we've been trying to do this entire video, win a Stanley Cup. But now we have to win 2 more because we want a three-peat to finish this video off. The team is still looking incredible here. No weaknesses whatsoever. Sidney Crosby, do you have 2 more good years left though? You're 46 years old right now, a 79 overall. The fact that you were on this team makes no sense, but we vibe anyways. No, like seriously, bro is 46. Like, we are not comprehending this. We are in the year 2034. Nathan McKinnon has retired. I'm pretty sure Connor McDavid is on the verge of retiring. Crosby's still rocking it with the boys. Like, that makes no sense. Now, you know what? Since this method worked last season, June 15th, we are going to simulate up till June 15th, and we're going to see what happens. We're winning game number 1. It was a defensive masterclass. We then allowed 6 goals in game 2, and we dropped game number 3. All right, we split the series so far. Let's close it out in game number 6, and that's exactly what we're doing. 2 shutouts in the series versus Tampa Bay. The offense is looking pretty strong, and so is the defense. So we need that to continue moving into the second round. We have a 2-1 lead. We're tying the series up. Oh boy, actually, we didn't tie the series up. Buffalo tied the series up. I don't know why I said we tied the series up when we lost the game. That made absolutely no sense. But you know what? We're not going to worry about it. We are 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final, but instead we blew a 3-0 series lead. You have to be kidding me. We were 1 game away and we blew a 3-0 series lead. No, I'm sick. We're moving on to next season. I don't care who wins the Stanley Cup. A 3-0 series lead. We were 1 game away from the Stanley Cup final. Washington's currently 1 game away from winning the Stanley Cup. You can't make this up. Also, I want to point out, we didn't even win the President's Trophy. Buffalo won it over us. They had a 56-19-7 record. We had a 56-21-5 record. No, I'm sick. That did not just happen. We did not just blow a 3-0 series lead in the conference finals. I have nothing to say here. Nothing to say whatsoever. Crosby had 64 points. Just want to say he's 46 years old. What do we really expect from that man? Yeah, I'm sick. I'm sick to my stomach right now. Y'all did not just do that. We're moving on. Washington's going to win the Stanley Cup here. They don't deserve it. I shouldn't say they don't deserve it though. They did make a 3-0 series comeback. So yeah, they kind of deserve it. Now, after that disappointment, I fully expect Sidney Crosby to retire. He's not running it back. What is going on with bro? He's running it back for 1 more. Crosby is not done. So I guess that brings up the question, Do we have enough money for Sidney Crosby? If we can find the money for him, which we will, we're bringing him back to the team. Crosby will return for another season. Capo Caco, I'm fine with losing you. This medium league potential player, we're probably going to lose him as well, but we will not lose 46-year-old Sidney Crosby. He wants $3.4 million. We have to trade somebody. We're going to trade somebody at the draft here so we can keep Sidney Crosby on the team. Who is somebody we can trade away that's only getting paid a couple dollars right now? Kavash is making 3.2. We could trade him away. Drouin Delorier, we're trading you. We are going to trade you away so we can keep Sidney Crosby on the team. Drouin Delorier, you're gone. Dave Pastrnak also dropped to an 82 overall. That is not a good sign. But you know what? We'll find a way to make all this work. So I'll ship him over to the Calgary Flames. That frees up $2.9 million. Sidney Crosby to come back to the team. We're going to find a way to bounce back next season. We will win the Stanley Cup. So here's what we're going to do during the re-sign phase. We're going to qualify a couple RFAs. Sidney Crosby, we'll find a way to bring you back to the team. You only want $1.3 million now. I guess we didn't have to make that trade, but you know what? I'm fine with making that trade. It frees up a little cap space for us, which we probably could use. With the rest of these guys, I'm hoping to do two-way contracts, but of course I'm not going to sign them. So we're qualifying everyone for $1 million. All right, so here's what I'm looking at doing. We're going to pick up McMuffin from the Seattle Kraken. He's an 88 overall on his entry-level contract. We're going to pick up this other medium league potential player who is also on their entry-level contract and a first-round pick. They're not willing to give up that first-round pick. I guess we'll just go 1 for 2 here. I don't care if Seattle's technically gained more out of this deal. We got the 2 players we wanted. All right, so here's what we're going to do with the other medium league potential player that we can't afford. I'm going to send him over to the Red Wings. Henry Jokiharju, a stick on the ice legends, being brought in at 50% retained. And we're also going to get a second-round pick. They don't want to retain money. What if I take that second-round route and just give me 2/3? I think they would be willing to accept this offer right here, and it looks like they are. All right, so here we go. It's the last dance, year number 10 with the Hartford Whalers, our final chance to win a Stanley Cup. We still have an amazing team here. We still have great goaltending. All I need is 16 victories in the postseason. We do that one more time, and we can finish this video off with the Stanley Cup. So here we go. We're finishing off year 10 with a bang. The Hartford Whalers, a 60-18-4 record. We're the best team in the entire league with the best offense, but not quite the best defense. I'm actually a little surprised we didn't have the best defense. We weren't even top 5 when it comes to our defense. That's a little bit concerning. But you know what? We're not going to worry about it too much because the offense on this team is just built different. We were scoring goals like crazy. The offense was amazing, and honestly the defense wasn't really too bad. Sidney Crosby, 17 goals, 30 assists for 47 points. I want to take a look at this man's trophy case before we finish up this video. He's won 4 Stanley Cups, 2 Conn Smythes, 2 Harts, 3 Ted Lindsays, 2 Art Rosses, and 2 Maurice Rocket Richards. But on top of that, how many points does this man have? He has 869 goals, 1,469 assists for 2,338 points. Bro has been an absolute stud since he joined the team, and he's been here for a long time. He just finished year 6 with the Hartford Whalers. Nah, those are some crazy numbers right there. We're moving on to our Stanley Cup matchup. We have the Ottawa Senators. There is one more thing we have to do, and of course, it's win a Stanley Cup. I mean, it's not just win a Stanley Cup. It's win one more Stanley Cup. Because we've already won a cup in this video, but we're looking to add another to the collection. We are not looking good so far. We're down 3-1. Okay, this could possibly be the worst way to finish off this video. There is no way the boys are going out like this. We were just the President's Trophy winners who won 60 games, and we're being eliminated in the first round. All right, great video, boys. Nah, but seriously, what did we just do? Why on earth did the Hartford Whalers go out like that? We won 1 Stanley Cup over the past 10 years. We were a dominant force for like the past 4 to 5 years. We were a really good team, and we went on some deep postseason runs. We won a Stanley Cup. We lost in the Stanley Cup final, lost in the conference finals a couple times, may have even blown a 3-0 series lead. Yeah, we might have done that. The Hartford Whalers, an incredible team, but when the postseason came around, we always find a way to let the fans down. Like in the final season, an 851 to 475. Like, what are we doing here, Kosa?